When someone starts copying the way you sit, the way you lean, the way you fold your arms, do you actually know what they're doing? Yes, it seems friendly, flattering even, like they just naturally vibe with you. But behind that mirroring, there's something deeper that most people completely miss. It's one of the most psychologically loaded things a person can do with their body. And if you misunderstand it, which most people do, you could be handing over your trust to someone who's already 3 moves ahead of you. Let's start with what mirroring really means. Point 1. Destroy the obvious explanation. So why does someone actually copy your body language? Most people assume it's simple. They like you. They feel comfortable around you. It's a sign of connection. End of story. But here's the thing, if it was just about comfort, why does it happen in job interviews? Why do salespeople do it within the first 90 seconds of meeting you? Why do people who barely know you suddenly start matching the exact way you cross your legs? If connection was all they wanted, they wouldn't need to physically become a reflection of you to get it. So why do they keep doing it, specifically around you? Because mirroring is not a sign of comfort. It's a tool of influence. It bypasses your conscious mind and speaks directly to something older, something deeper, your survival instinct to trust people who seem like you. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events themselves, but by our judgments about them. And that's exactly what happens here. You see someone copying your posture and your brain judges it as safety, as familiarity, as trust. But that judgment, it was installed in you, not chosen by you. And by the way, if someone who used to mirror you suddenly stops, don't brush it off. We'll get into what that really means at the end, and it's something most people wish they'd understood sooner. Point 2. Reveal the hidden mechanism. Have you ever noticed a slight delay, maybe 2 or 3 seconds, right before someone copies the way you shift in your chair? That's not random, it's calculated. This is a psychological mechanism called the Chameleon Effect, a term coined by researchers Chartrand and Barg. It describes the unconscious tendency to mimic the postures, gestures, and expressions of the people around us. But here's the part that changes everything. Some people don't do this unconsciously at all. They've learned to weaponize it. Here's what most people don't realize. When someone mirrors your body language, they're not just sitting the way you sit. They're running a silent rapport hack. They are using your own nervous system against you to manufacture a sense of closeness that doesn't actually exist yet. Robert Greene wrote about this in his study of power, that the most effective influencers are the ones who become a mirror. Not because they agree with you, but because the reflection makes you feel understood. And when you feel understood, your guard drops. You start talking more. You reveal more. You give more than you plan to. This is also why you sometimes walk away from a conversation, feeling strangely close to someone you just met. But you can't explain why. That feeling wasn't built. It was borrowed. They mirrored it out of you. Point 3. The power/status angle. Ever wonder why the most powerful negotiators, diplomats, and leaders all use some version of mirroring? Maybe it's the way a CEO leans back at the exact moment you do during a meeting. Maybe it's how a seasoned interrogator matches your breathing pattern before asking the hard question. Maybe it's the way a politician on stage subtly copies the body language of the crowd. Open palms, forward lean, nodding. That pattern isn't random, it's strategic. Here's something that might surprise you. Mirroring is not a modern sales trick. This goes back thousands of years. Sun Tzu understood that the greatest victories are won without the opponent ever realizing there was a battle. And mirroring is exactly that, a silent war for psychological positioning where the target never feels attacked. They feel connected. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals that you should observe people not by what they say, but by what they repeatedly do. Watch how someone uses mirroring. If they mirror you and then slowly introduce new gestures that you start following, they're leading. They've taken psychological control. If they only mirror you when they want something, a favor, a yes, an agreement, they're extracting. If they mirror you inconsistently, hot and cold, on and off, they're conditioning you. And that's the most dangerous form of all, because it uses intermittent reinforcement, the same psychological mechanism behind gambling addiction and toxic relationships. Your brain starts craving the connection, never knowing when it's coming back. And hey, if this is making you see body language differently right now, smash that like button and subscribe. It's the best way to help us reach more people who actually care about understanding the psychology behind everyday life. Point 4. The breakdown/typology. Does the person mirror your posture, your hand gestures, your facial expressions, or your energy level? Each of these is telling you something completely different. Let's start with posture mirroring. This is the most common form. They sit the way you sit. They lean when you lean. It looks harmless. But posture mirroring is how someone communicates. I am like you. You can trust me. It's rapport building at the most basic physical level. And it's the first move in almost every influence playbook. Now, gesture mirroring. This is more specific. They start using the same hand movements, the same nod patterns, the same way you tilt your head when you're thinking. This means they've been watching you closely enough to pick up habits you probably don't even know you have. That level of attention is never accidental. What about expression mirroring? This is where it gets personal. If someone starts matching your smile, your frown, your look of concern, they're tapping into emotional contagion. They want you to feel felt. And the moment you feel felt by someone, you drop your defenses faster than with any other technique. This is the tool of the emotional manipulator, the dark empath, the person who makes you feel seen right before they make a request. And then there's energy mirroring, the rarest and strongest form. They don't just copy what you do. They match how you feel. If you're excited, they amplify it. If you're calm, they slow down with you. If you're anxious, they absorb it and reflect stability back. That's the strongest statement of all. They want full emotional control of the dynamic. They want to become your thermostat, the thing that sets the temperature of every interaction. Point 5. The behavioral shift. What it does to you. Have you ever noticed that you start opening up faster, agreeing more easily, or feeling unusually comfortable around someone who mirrors you? You're friendlier, more trusting, more willing to say yes to things you'd normally think twice about. That's not a coincidence. It's a behavioral shift they engineered. Epictetus taught that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And this is the problem. Most people never realize they're reacting at all. They think they're choosing to trust. They think the comfort is real. But the comfort was manufactured the moment someone started reflecting their movements back to them. Researchers studying the Chameleon Effect found that people who were mirrored during conversations rated the other person as more likable, more trustworthy, and more persuasive, even when the content of the conversation was identical. The only variable was the mirroring. Think about that for a second. Your entire judgment of another person, built over years of experience, pattern recognition, and instinct, gets rewritten just because someone copied the way you leaned forward. Not what they said, not what they did for you, just the way they sat. Point 6. They already know your weakness. Ever had a rough week? Maybe you're tired, stressed, carrying something heavy, and noticed someone suddenly start matching your pace, your tone, your energy with almost eerie precision? That's not a coincidence. They knew something was wrong before you even said a word. People who are skilled at mirroring don't just copy your body. They read it first. They pick up on micro-signals, the slight drop in your shoulders, the slower way you blink when you're drained, the way your voice flattens when you're holding something back. They pick up on all of it. They don't know every detail, but they know something's off. And that's when the mirroring hits hardest, because when you're already low, already open, already searching for someone who gets it, and then someone physically reflects you back to yourself, it feels like being understood on a level words can't reach. And here's where it gets even deeper. The longer someone mirrors you, the better their internal map of you becomes. They learn your baseline, your normal posture, your resting energy, your default expression. And when something shifts, when you're stressed, excited, hiding something, they notice. They notice before you even realize you've changed, and they adjust their behavior accordingly, not to help you, but to position themselves exactly where you need someone to be. What does it mean when someone who has been mirroring you for days, weeks, months, suddenly stops? This is what I mentioned earlier, and it's something everyone needs to understand. If someone has been reflecting your movements, matching your energy, making you feel impossibly understood, and then one day they sit differently, look away. Stop syncing with you. Don't just accept it, question it. People are creatures of pattern. When they break one this significant, they're trying to accomplish something. Sometimes the reason is strategic. They've already gotten what they needed. Your trust, your agreement, your loyalty. And the mirroring served its purpose. It was scaffolding, and now they're removing it because the structure is already built. Other times it's a test. They pull back the mirroring to see what you do. Do you chase the closeness? Do you try harder to win back that invisible connection? If you do, they know exactly how much power they hold over you. And sometimes, and this is the one that does the most damage, they cycle it. Mirror you, pull away. Mirror you, pull away. Hot, then cold. This creates a loop of intermittent reinforcement that keeps you emotionally hooked without ever giving you stability. You spend all your energy trying to get back to, how it felt when they were reflecting you. And that craving, that's by design. The Stoic response. Seneca once warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And that's what mirroring exploits. Your imagination fills in the trust, the safety, the bond. But none of it was confirmed. It was only reflected. Marcus Aurelius, poet, wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. And that when you realize this, you find strength. The person who mirrors you controls the reflection, but you control what you do with what you see. Because that mirroring, it was never meaningless to them, and it shouldn't be meaningless to you either.